Hello friends, a very good morning to all of you. I hope you guys are doing well. So today we are starting with the first session of costing. I am Vipin Bohra. I'll be taking almost the entire subject. So guys, pay attention to all my lectures. And apart from this, if you guys have any queries, I'll try my level best to address all your queries. So very good morning to all of you. So now before starting with this chapter, let me discuss what all we'll be discussing in the syllabus of cost and management accounting. The three elements of cost we'll be discussing first. The three elements of cost we'll be discussing first, that is material, labor, and overheads. Thereafter, activity-based costing. These all three elements are put together to form the total cost statement, that is cost sheet. Thereafter, we'll be discussing the methods of costing, that is unit and batch costing, process costing, in continuation of a process costing, there is a chapter named joint and byproduct. So we'll be discussing together with process costing, that is joint and byproduct. For construction industries, the constructor do use contract costing, that we'll be discussing. The companies who are into service industry, they use service costing, so we'll be discussing service costing also. Apart from this, we'll be discussing three more chapters that are more related to management and cost control, that is budgetary control, standard costing, and marginal costing. One more chapter we'll be discussing more related to accounting part, that is integrated and non-integrated. So this is all what covered in the syllabus. So we'll be discussing all these chapters one by one. Very good morning to all of you guys. So all these chapters we'll be discussing one by one, right from starts, that is the three elements of cost, that is material, labor, and overheads we'll be discussing first. More into different way of absorption overhead, that is activity-based costing, thereafter we'll be discussing. Thereafter, when all these three elements come together to calculate the total cost, we'll be discussing cost sheet also. Thereafter, the methods of costing, that is unit and batch costing, process costing, joint and byproduct, contract costing, service costing. Apart from this, the management based chapter, that is budgetary control, standard costing, and marginal costing. And the last but not least, integrated and non-integrated, that is more related to methods of accounting. Now guys, in the old syllabus, it was a 60-40 ratio. So somehow, somewhere we can skip few chapters. But now in the new syllabus, the costing is of full 100 marks. So I personally suggest you guys to study all the chapters carefully and thoroughly. No need to skip any chapter. कोई भी chapter आप छोड़ नहीं सकते. पुराने syllabus में 60-40 ratio था, costing था, FMB था. तो there were chances, there was some sort of window था कि भाई आप कुछ chapters जो है आप skip कर सकते हैं. But now in the new syllabus, you have to study all the chapters. Examiner कोई भी chapter से आपको questions पूछ सकता है. When making the ABC analysis, that what all chapters are most important, I can say all these chapters are important, but these three chapters we can put up in A. Sorry. These three chapters we can put in A+++ category. In every attempt, you will see one question of budgetary control, one question of standard costing, and one question of marginal costing. So we can keep these three chapters in A+++ category. Apart from this, methods of costing, that is unit and batch costing, process costing, joint and byproduct costing, contract costing, and service costing. You will see at least three questions from this part of the syllabus. So we can keep it in A category. Now, moving towards the next part, that is material, labor, and overheads. Again, there is no B category or C category, but yes, examiner do ask question frequently on these chapter. In every attempt, you will see 5 to 8 marks question on material, 5 to 8 marks question on labor and overheads also. Activity-based costing, very, very important. The examiner is going to ask you the question on activity-based costing. So we can categorize in A++ category. Apart from this, sometimes examiner do ask the question on these two chapters. So guys, there is no B category, C category in this new syllabus. In earlier syllabus, yes, we can, skip few chapters and we can take chances. But in this new syllabus, the paper is of full 100 marks of costing. So guys, you have to understand each and every chapter and you have to practice each and every chapter to clear the exams. If you guys have any queries, you guys can ask me else. Thank you so much, Pooja. So these all chapters we'll be discussing one by one. Most of the syllabus I'll be taking care of in cost and management accounting. So guys, whatever the queries you have, just put up all your queries. I'll try my level best to address all your queries. Though the guys who want to take the screenshot can take it, else it's not required. Only still those who want to take the screenshot can please take. The guys who want to take the screen. Yes, Mr. Kumar, Mr. Jayendra Kumar will be covering all the topics here in the coming session. I'll be discussing mostly all the topics. So guys, without wasting time, let's start with the first chapter of the syllabus, that is material costing. As I told you guys, a product is made up of three types of cost, that is material, labor, and overheads. There are three elements of cost of any product, that is material, labor, and overhead. So we are starting with the first element of the cost, the most significant element of the cost, the most significant element of the product, that is material cost. Thank you so much, Manisha. I think you were there in the last batch also. Anyway, so guys, let's start with material now. Now, before starting with material costing, what do you mean by material? What do you mean by material? Now see, what is material? Material is a physical commodity. What is material? Material is a physical material is a physical object or a commodity that we use in manufacture of product. What is material? It is a physical object or a commodity used in manufacturing of product. So I repeat again, what is material? What is material? Material is a physical object or a commodity that is used in manufacturing a product. Let me discuss this with the help of an example. Let's say the basic example, I am the manufacturer of this pen. This pen is made of plastic ink. So this is what we call as material, the raw material, the basic ingredient we use to manufacture a product. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of shirt. What this shirt is made up of? Very simple, the fabric. So this is what? Material. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of wooden furniture. What wooden furniture is made of? Wood. So this wood is what? Material. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of plastic buckets. Now these plastics buckets are made of PP granule, or somewhat we can say more related to crude oil. I mean, it's an abstract of crude oil. So these plastic buckets are made of PP granule. So what this PP granule is? The material. So what is material? The physical object, a commodity that is used in manufacturing a product. We can write few examples for your reference. That is wood used in manufacturing furniture, fabric used in manufacturing shirt. There may be n number of examples. So the basic ingredient in the final product is what? The material. Another example, we can say milk used in manufacturing ice cream, etc. Thank you so much, Anu. Very good morning, dear. So what is material? It's a physical object and a commodity used in manufacturing a product. I have discussed the example. Now this material can be categorized in two parts. That is direct material and indirect material. Now the thing is, what is direct material? What is indirect material? The material that is directly involved in manufacturing a product and have some significant value is direct material. Directly involved or direct ingredient in manufacturing a product. And have some significant value So what is direct material? Direct ingredient in manufacturing a product and have some significant value is direct material. When talking about indirect material, it plays a supporting role. It plays a supporting role in manufacturing a product. This is indirect material. Yes, Rekha. Yes, Ankur Singh Patel. Your examples are correct. So now, what is direct material? That is the direct ingredient that is used in manufacturing a product and have some significant value is direct material. And when talking about indirect material, it plays a supporting role in manufacturing a product. Let me discuss this with the help of an example. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of wooden furniture. Now, this wooden furniture is made of wood. The basic ingredient is wood. Wood is present in the final product. So that wood is what? Direct material. Now, suppose furniture ko chipkane ke liye we are using some Fevicol or glue, but it is nowhere present in the final product. Can we see glue or somewhere we can say Fevicol in the final product? No. But yes, without this, a furniture cannot be manufactured. So this is what we call as indirect material. I repeat again, when talking about furniture, the wood is the direct material, and the glue, the Fevicol we are using is what? Indirect material. Another example, let's say I'm the manufacturer of this pen. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of this pen. Now this pen is made of plastic ink. So this is what we call as direct material. Now let's say these pens are assembled or manufactured in machine, and for the smooth functioning of machines, we use lubricating oil, grease or something like that. So this lubricating oil and grease is what? Indirect material. And this plastic and ink is what? Direct material. So if you guys have any queries, you guys can ask me. Those who want to copy this part can please copy this part. Now guys, as I told you, the material is the major cost element in the cost of a final product. So this material cost is the significant element in the total cost of a product. So it requires adequate management attention. Proper control is necessary to manage and maintain the cost. I repeat again, since this material cost is the major element in the total cost of a product, so it requires significant, or we can say it requires adequate attention of the management. So herein the material controls comes into picture. What? Material control comes into picture. Since it is the significant element of the total cost of a product, so a proper control, proper management attention is required. So herein the material control comes into the picture. Now, when talking about material control, what is material control? सिंपल थिंग दैट सबसे पहले जब मटेरियल परचेज करें आप आउटसाइड सप्लायर से, सो इट शुड बी परचेज एट इकोनॉमिकल प्राइस, कंपिटिटिव प्राइस, एंड वंस द मटेरियल इज विद अस, it should be effectively and efficiently utilized. I repeat again, when talking about material control, the major object of the material control is what? First of all, economy in purchase of material, and second thing is effectively and efficiently utilization of material. So I'll be discussing this material control throughout the chapter. So if you guys have any queries in this part, you guys can please ask me. Thereafter we'll proceed further. I have query from Surya A. Sir, can you please say again direct and indirect material? When talking about direct material, the material that is directly involved or the major ingredient in the final product, that is direct material. It has some significant value, that is direct material. When talking about indirect material, it plays a supporting role in manufacturing a product. I've already discussed the examples. So as I told you guys, this material is a significant element in the total cost of a product. So it requires adequate management attention. So herein the material control comes into picture. The major object of the material control is economy in purchase and effectively and efficiently utilization of material. How it works, what are the various techniques of material control that we'll be discussing throughout this chapter. But before starting with this part, let me discuss what all I'll be covering in this chapter. The topics that we'll be discussing throughout this chapter will be, the first part is more related to material procurement. The points we'll be discussing in this chapter, let me give you an overview or a brief what all points we'll be covering in this chapter. The first part that we'll be discussing is related to material procurement. That is how we procure the material, what are the notes or bills, or we can say the letters we have to issue while procuring the material. The second part we'll be discussing is valuation of material received. It means what all value we will record in the books. Let's say I have purchased furniture from, let's say I have purchased wood from Indonesia. Now the amount paid to the supplier is, let's say, 10,000. Now will we record only 10,000? No. As per accounting standard 2, whatever the cost incurred till the factory gate will be included in the cost of material. So there are n number of expenditures that will be incurred for transporting the wood from Indonesia to India. So all these expenditures will form part of value of material. What all is to be included, what all is to be excluded, we'll be discussing in detail in this part. The third part we'll be discussing is material stores and records. What all records the storekeeper has to maintain, so to avoid any sort of theft or say unauthorized issuance of material. So what all records the storekeeper has to maintain. The next part will be discussing the very important part, inventory control. The most important part of the chapter, that is inventory control, will be discussing. It's the major part of the chapter. Examiner do ask question on inventory control only most of the time. So we'll be discussing in detail the inventory control part. Thereafter we'll be discussing valuation of material issues. Now see, the materials kept in the stores, and the stores supply material to the production department. So how to record the same? How to record the issue of material, that we'll be discussing in this part, that is valuation of material issues. Thereafter we'll be discussing the accounting and control of waste and scrap, how to account and how to control waste and scrap. Apart from this, we'll be discussing the last part, that is consumption of material. So these all points we'll be discussing one by right from start, that is material procurement, what all process we have to follow for procuring the material. Thereafter the valuation of material, that is what will be the value that will be recorded in the books for the material that is purchased. Thereafter, what all records the storekeeper has to maintain, so that we can avoid somewhat unauthorized issuance of material or theft of material. Thereafter, very important part, inventory control, as I have already discussed. What all objects are there of internal inventory control? That is first and the foremost thing, that is economy in purchasing and efficiency and effectively utilization of material. That the various techniques we'll be discussing in internal control. Thereafter, valuation of material the valuation of material issues, that is when the storekeeper issues the material to the production department. How to record the same? There are various methods we will be discussing, that is LIFO method, FIFO method, weighted average method, simple average method. Accounting standard 2, we will be giving reference to accounting standard 2 anyways. So we'll be covering this part also. Thereafter, accounting and control of waste and scrap, that is how to control waste and scrap, and then how to account the same. Thereafter, last part that we'll be discussing is the consumption of material. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Thank you so much, Preeti. Mr. Suyog Joshi, I'll be discussing few things in Hindi, few things in English, because from this batch only the institute has permitted to that the faculties can use Hindi or English. So I'll try my level best to make all the students understand the concept thoroughly. So I'll be using Hindi and English both, don't worry. Ms. Dhriti sir, what is the difference between the valuation of material and valuation of material issues? When talking about valuation of material, at what cost the material will be recorded in the books? And when talking about valuation of material issues, so it covers what? When the storekeeper issues material to the production department, how to record the same. We'll be discussing this part in details, so don't worry. I request you guys to please download the study material because I'll be using few points from the study material. So I request you guys to please download the study material from ICAI portal, or you guys can refer the hard copy. So just giving you 2 minutes time guys to please download, or those who are not having the study material right now, please get it, because I'll be discussing few points from the study material. So giving you 2 minutes time, please download or please get your study material with you. Just giving you 2 minutes time, guys. Manisha Vishwakarma, can you please resend your queries? Mr. Muzaffar Ali, sir, please tell me why the subject cost in management accounting is there in the syllabus. Now see, in every business, the calculation of cost is must. Without this, we cannot run the business. अगर आपको किसी product का selling price निकालना है, तो product का cost होना जरूरी है. And this is very essential element to conduct a business. So that's why, I mean, if you want to do any sort of course more related to commerce, you have to study cost and management accounting. Manisha Vishwakarma, I'll be discussing strategy, how to approach this subject. But the important thing is right now, I request you to focus on all my lectures, and whatever the tips I am giving you to solve the question, please solve all the question. But the thumb rule is you have to practice the questions in writing rather than doing ticking. As I've discussed in my previous sessions also, there is no alternate of hard work. And so just try to solve each and every question in writing rather than doing ticking in the study material or whatever the notes you have. So this is the thumb rule to clear the exam, and this is the only strategy. Focus on the concepts and try to solve as many as questions in writing. चलिए let's start with the first part of the chapter, that is related to material procurement. Now guys, इंस्टीट्यूट के स्टडी मटेरियल में इतनी सारी चीजें दी हुई है, ये इशू करना है, वो इशू करना है. फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट परस्पेक्ट आपको लगेगा कि ये सब क्या हो रहा है, बट ट्रस्ट मी गाइस, every corporate houses are following this approach. It's just the basic practical approach. So I'll be discussing this thing practically so that you guys can understand the concept of the issuance of all these invoices, bills, notice, requisition, whatever it is. So let's start with guys with the material procurement process. I request you guys to please refer page number 2.6 of the study material. There is a chart given that is more related to procurement of material. So I'll be discussing this chart, and I'll try my level best to make you understand that what all is covered in this chart. So let's start, guys. Now see, let's say I'm a manufacturer of a particular brand of shirts. Now, the whole process starts from the engineering department. That is, what quality of shirts we are going to manufacture, what all specification of fabric we have to use, what should be the percentage content of cotton, what should be the percentage content of polyester, what should be the percentage content of nylon, or whatever it is. So the first thing starts from the engineering department, that is the production planning department, that what all specification of raw material we do have to use. So the first process starts from is the engineering department, that what all specification of raw material we have to use to manufacture or desired product. Let's say I repeat the same example. I am the manufacturer of this shirt. Now engineering department will fix up, after doing necessary research or whatever it is, that how much percentage of cotton should be there in the fabric, how much percentage of nylon should be there in the fabric, how much percentage of polyester should be there in the fabric. Again, let's take another example. Let's say I am the manufacturer of limestone, and my raw material is, let's say, petroleum coke. Now, again, the engineer will decide that what specification of petroleum coke we do need. What should be the percentage of sulfur in the petroleum coke? What percentage of moisture should be there in the petroleum coke? What percentage of granules is required, and what percentage of dust is required. So here in the entire process of purchase of material starts right from the engineering department. First of all, after doing necessary research, they do identify the specification of raw material that we will require, the quality of raw material they will require, and they will note down in a pad. That is what we call as bill of material. They will prepare the bill of material. They will prepare the bill of material and they will issue it to the production department कि भाई आपको ये specification का माल use करके या ये specification का raw material use करके आपको ये product बनाना है. So this raw material, this bill of material is a document which contains the detailed specification of the raw material that the company has to consume to manufacture the final product. This bill of material is issued by the engineering department to whom? The production department. कि भाई आपको जो है ये specification का ये percentage का ये होना चाहिए, ये percentage का ये होना चाहिए. So this bill of material contains the specification of the raw material that the production department has to use to manufacture the product. So the first point, that is bill of material, that is the engineering department, or we can say planning department, so this is a document issued by engineering department or planning department to the production department. This should be the specification of the raw material that is required. Now, production department is now well aware about that what all quality of raw material we have to use. So they will call the stores department कि भाई साहब आपके पास जो है ये specification का raw material है या नहीं है. Again guys, oral communication is not sufficient in the corporate houses. They have to make a letter in writing that do you have this quality of raw material or not, or if not, then you have to procure it from the outside vendor. We require this quality and this specification of raw material. So they will request to whom? The stores department. This production department will request to the स्टोर्स डिपार्टमेंट कि भाई साहब मुझे जो है ये क्वालिटी का रॉ मटेरियल चाहिए. सो अगेन दिस शुड बी इन राइटिंग. सो दे आर रिक्वेस्टिंग फॉर द मटेरियल, सो दे विल इशू मटेरियल रिक्विजिशन. Production department will issue material requisition. The request for the material, the order for the material to the stores department. So they will issue material requisition. So now stores department चेक करेगा कि भाई ये रॉ मटेरियल हमारे पास है या नहीं है. इफ नॉट अवेलेबल, द स्टोर्स डिपार्टमेंट विल अप्रोच whom? द परचेज डिपार्टमेंट कि भाई माय प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट इज आस्किंग फॉर सो एंड सो मटेरियल एंड आई डोंट हैव दैट क्वालिटी ऑफ मटेरियल, सो आई रिक्वेस्ट यू टू परचेज दिस मटेरियल फ्रॉम द आउटसाइड सप्लायर. आई रिपीट अगेन, दिस प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट विल रिक्वेस्ट टू द स्टोर्स डिपार्टमेंट, भाई प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट रॉ मटेरियल कहां से लेगा? स्टोर्स में से लेगा. So they will request the store department that I want this quality of raw material. So if stores department have this quality of raw material, अगर उसके पास होगा तो वो इसको सप्लाई कर देगा. अगर नहीं होगा तो stores department किसके पास जाएगा? The purchase department. Store department will approach the purchase department कि sir, there is a requirement of this specification of raw material, so you need to buy it from the outside suppliers. So again, सिर्फ ओरल कम्युनिकेशन से काम नहीं चलेगा. दे हैव टू पुट अ लेटर इन राइटिंग. दे हैव टू रिक्वेस्ट फॉर परचेज ऑफ दिस मटेरियल. सो स्टोर्स डिपार्टमेंट विल इशू परचेज रिक्वेस्ट टू whom? द परचेज डिपार्टमेंट. There is a query from Ms. Alma Sheikh, sir, for specification of raw material requirement. Any special qualification from the person who specify? See, this work is basically done by the expert, that is the engineers, who know what should be the proper composition of the raw material to manufacture a desired final product. So somewhat it is more or less related to engineering part. That's good, Linton. Miss Revati, I'll be discussing how much is the weightage of marginal costing. But yes, marginal costing, the examiner do ask in every attempt. So you have to study. In fact, not even marginal costing, every chapters you have to study. So right now, focus on what I'm teaching. Yes, guys. Yes, Mr. Deepak Goyal, I'll be providing few additional questions. Don't worry. So now, the engineering department work is over. They will issue bill of material to whom? The production department. Production department request to the store department by issuing material requisition. Store department request to the purchase department. They will issue purchase requisition. Now, what is purchase requisition? An authority letter that is issued by the stores department कि भाई साहब आपको ये purchase करना ही पड़ेगा. So now the purchase department has the authority. Now the purchase department has the authority to purchase so and so quality of raw material with so and so specification of so and so quantity. So now what purchase department will do? Purchase department will approach the supplier. Again, the telephonic conversation or an oral conversation is not sufficient. They will invite tenders from the various supplier कि भाई हम लोगों की जो है ये raw material की requirement है. So the interested candidates, interested suppliers can provide us the reason, provide the specification and the quotation of our desired material. So what they will do? They will invite tenders. They will invite tenders, so they will issue request for proposals or tenders to the various suppliers. They will issue request for proposal और एकदम सीधी और आसान भाषा में we can say they will invite tenders from the various supplier कि भाई हम लोगों की ये requirement आई है. Please, the persons who are interested can provide us the quotations along with the details what we need and what you guys can supply. So request for proposals or tenders. So if you guys have any doubts, any query you guys can please ask me. Till now, the process starts from the engineering department. They will issue bill of material to the production department. It contains the specification of production department will request to the store department by issuing material requisition. The stores department will request the purchase department to issue purchase requisition. The purchase department will request the suppliers that you guys can tender. Would tender. The purchase department will request the suppliers कि those who are interested can please provide the quotations. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can please ask me. Now, after receiving the tenders, the various supplier will submit their quotations कि भाई we are ready to supply this much of quantity of so and so specification at so and so price. So what suppliers will do? After receiving the tenders, these supplier will revert back to the purchase department. These suppliers will revert back to the purchase department by issuing quotation. कि भाई हम लोग जो है ये क्वालिटी का रॉ मटेरियल सो एंड सो प्राइस पे हम लोग आपको प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. अब परचेज डिपार्टमेंट के पास खूब सारे सप्लायर्स के कोटेशंस आ गए. नाउ व्हाट दे विल डू? They will select the supplier who is providing the best quality of raw material at most competitive price. And I repeat again, the purchase department will select the supplier who is providing the best quality of raw material at most competitive price. और जैसे ही उसको सेलेक्ट कर दिया, उसको क्या कर देगा? परचेज ऑर्डर इश्यू कर देगा कि भाई आप मुझे जो है सो एंड सो क्वांटिटी का माल जो है ये एंड ये प्राइस पे आप मुझे प्रोवाइड कर दीजिए. So once the quotations are received from the supplier who is selected, who is providing the best quality raw material at the most competitive price will be selected. और purchase department क्या करेगा? उस supplier को क्या इशू कर देगा? Purchase order. अब जैसे ही सप्लायर के पास परचेज ऑर्डर मिला, ऐसा नहीं कि भाई वो इमीडिएटली माल सप्लाई कर देगा, इमीडिएटली रॉ मटेरियल सप्लाई कर देगा. ही विल प्रिपेयर अ प्रोफॉर्मा इनवॉइस कि दिस विल बी द वैल्यू ऑफ द टोटल बिल. So once the purchase order is issued by the purchase department to the supplier, supplier immediately won't supply the product. They will issue a pro forma invoice. They will issue a pro forma invoice. They will issue a pro forma invoice to the accounts department. They will issue a pro forma invoice to the accounting department कि this will be the value of bill. And अगर ऐसा कुछ terms of payment है कि भी आपको 50% एडवांस देना पड़ता है या 60% एडवांस देना है या 30% एडवांस देना है, तो this accounting department will release the payment to the supplier accordingly. So after receiving the pro forma invoice, the accounting department, if required as per the terms of the contract, they will release the payment, and after the receipt of payment, the supplier will provide the raw material. The supplier will provide the invoice to the supplier. क्या करेगा कि भाई accounting department को तो invoice provide कर देगा और store keeper को पूरा का पूरा माल provide कर देगा. So they will provide invoice to the accounting department, and this supplier tenders to the various supplier. In return, the supplier will provide the quotation that we are ready to supply so and so quantity at so and so price. So once a particular supplier is selected, the stores department the purchase department will issue purchase order to the supplier. And once the supplier receives the purchase order, the supplier will prepare a pro forma invoice and will give it to the accounts department कि भाई I am ready to provide so and so material, and that will be the value of the bill. So if the terms are like we have to release 30% advance or 40% advance, so we will make the payment to the supplier, and thereafter supplier will provide us the final invoice and will provide the material to our stores. Now, on receipt of material from एक बार अगर स्टोर कीपर को जो है रॉ मटेरियल मिल जाता है, तो स्टोर कीपर जनरली issues goods receipt note. I repeat again, once the material is received by the stores department, they will issue goods receipt note. If let's say कुछ रॉ मटेरियल जो आया है वो हमारी स्पेसिफिकेशन के हिसाब से नहीं आया है, there are few more points. Goods receipt note that is issued by the stores. अगर कुछ रॉ मटेरियल जो है हमारी स्पेसिफिकेशन के हिसाब से नहीं आया है, तो द स्टोर कीपर विल रिटर्न इट टू द सप्लायर एंड विल इशू गुड्स रिटर्न नोट. Apart from this, there is one more document that need to be processed, that is material abstract. It contains the each and every minute details of the material that is received. So all these are the points that are covered in the material procurement process. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please ask me. Edwin sir, are you there? 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 I think he's gone somewhere anyways, guys. I hope I am audible and visible to all. Please check, guys. Waiting for a reply. I hope I am audible and visible to all. I'll be covering whatever I've discussed till now, so don't worry. Have some patience, Sumit. Am I audible and visible to all, guys? Thank you so much, Meman. Rafika Memon. Am I audible and visible to you guys? Please confirm. Admin sir, are you there? Okay, thank you guys. I have received your comments a bit late. Those who are finding difficulty in, those who are facing some problem as regards the board, can please refresh your internet connection, because most of the students are saying that it is okay and it is visible. So guys, let's sum up what we have discussed till now relating to material procurement. The procurement process starts right from the engineering department. They will provide us the specification of raw material required and they will mention it in bill of material. They will issue bill of material to the production department. प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट के पास स्पेसिफिकेशन आ गए कि भाई हमें ये स्पेसिफिकेशन का रॉ मटेरियल सही चाहिए, तो प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट किसको अप्रोच करेगा? स्टोर्स डिपार्टमेंट, क्योंकि भाई स्टोर्स आई वांट दिस क्वालिटी ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल. सो हाउ दे विल अप्रोच? दे विल इशू मटेरियल रिक्विजिशन, द रिक्वेस्ट फॉर द मटेरियल. सो नाउ स्टोर्स विल चेक कि भाई हमारे पास अगर ये मटेरियल अवेलेबल है तो इसको प्रोवाइड कर दो, और अगर अवेलेबल नहीं है तो दे विल अप्रोच whom? The purchase department. They will approach the purchase department by requesting that you have to purchase this quality of raw material of so and so quantity. So they will issue purchase requisition to the purchase department. Now what is purchase requisition? It's an authority letter for the purchase department कि I have to purchase this quality and this quantity of raw material. So purchase department क्या करेगा कि भाई बहुत सारे suppliers को approach करेगा by issuing tenders कि भाई और company requires so and so quality of raw material of so and so quantity. So once the supplier receives the tenders, or we can say request for proposal, the interested suppliers will again issue the quotations. They will provide the various quotations to the purchase department कि we are ready to supply so and so raw material at so and so price. Now, what purchase department will do? The purchase department will select the supplier who is providing the best quality of raw material at the most competitive price. So once a particular supplier, let's say Mr. Rajan, is selected. Now, what purchase department will do? Purchase department will issue purchase order to Mr. Rajan, who is the supplier. So after receiving the purchase order, supplier immediately goods supply नहीं करेगा. They will issue performa invoice. They will issue performa invoice to the accounts department कि we are ready to provide so and so material and this will be the price. If the terms of payment requires to make advance payment or full payment, the accounts department will release the payment, and after release of payment, the supplier will issue the final invoice and will provide the material to the stores department. Now, on receipt of material, the stores department क्या करेगा कि भाई मुझे ये माल मिल गया है, मुझे ये raw material मिल गया है. So they will issue goods receipt note that this much quantity of raw material is received in our store. If certain part of material is defective or not as per the specification, they will return it to the supplier and they will issue goods return note. Apart from this, the stores department do provide material abstract. It contains the details of the material that is received, and that is an intimation to whom? The accounting department. So I have covered each and every point in detail. If you guys have any doubts, any queries, you guys can please post me. I've already discussed what is material abstract. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can please ask me. Waiting for your queries. Yes, Pooja, I'm going to give you some time to write all this. So those who want to copy this part can please copy. Miss Tanishka Agrawal sir, what is the meaning of tender? Tender, it's just like an offer कि भाई हमारा कंपनी जो है so and so quality of raw material we do want. So the interested candidate can submit their quotation. So it's just like an offer to the supplier कि your company requires so and so quality of raw material. So the interested candidates can the interested suppliers can submit their quotation against it. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. I am giving you 2 minutes, guys. So please copy this part. Miss Rashmi, it will be the pro forma invoice first, then the payment, and then the final invoice. I repeat again. First, the pro forma invoice will be issued by the supplier to the accounts department. Accounts department will release the payment. Once the payment is released, then they will issue the final invoice. Along with the final invoice, they will supply the material to our company. The goods return note will be provided to the supplier along with the goods that are returned. Thank you so much, Manthan. Thank you so much, Tanishka. Miss Neha, can you please repost your queries? Karthik Gupta, the goods receipt note. See, it is given there in the chart also that is provided by the ICAI that the good receipt note is provided to the supplier and material abstract is provided to the accounting department. So that is the difference. So once you receive the goods receipt notes, the storekeeper will issue to the supplier. And when talking about material abstract, it will be provided to the accounts department. I repeat again, many of you guys are facing the query that sir goods receipt note और material abstract में क्या difference है? तो भाई material abstract is to be provided to the accounting department, and as and when you receive the goods, there should be some sort of proof with the supplier that yes, you have received the goods. So the storekeeper will issue goods receipt note to the supplier. Thank you so much. Yeah. Tanishka Batra, see Tanishka, what is material abstract? It is more like a details. It contains all the details of the material received. That this material abstract is prepared by the stores department and it is provided to the accounting department to maintain the records. Thank you so much, Soumya. I've already discussed, Ankit Gupta, what is material abstract. It contains the details of all the material that is received by the stores, and this material abstract is provided to the accounting department, not to the supplier. The storekeeper will issue goods receipt note to the supplier. This goods receipt note is issued by the storekeeper to the supplier. And this material abstract is issued by the stores to the accounting department. Thank you so much, Mr. Parikh. Last 2 minutes, guys. If you guys have any doubts in material procurement process, you guys can ask me. I repeat again the entire process. Do make a note of it, guys. Starting with one by one. सबसे पहले कहाँ से start होता है? Engineering department से. वो क्या issue करता है? Specification issue करता है. किसको issue करता है? Production department को. This is called as bill of material. प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट को अगर मटेरियल चाहिए तो वो किसके पास जाएगा? स्टोर कीपर के पास जाएगा. एंड दे विल रिक्वेस्ट फॉर मटेरियल, सो दे विल इशू मटेरियल रिक्विजिशन. अब स्टोर कीपर के पास अगर रॉ मटेरियल नहीं है तो वो किसके पास जाएगा? परचेज डिपार्टमेंट के पास जाएगा. तो वो क्या इशू करेगा? परचेज रिक्विजिशन इशू करेगा. अब परचेज डिपार्टमेंट क्या करेगा? अगर उसके पास अगर उसको परचेज करना है तो ही विल अप्रोच द सप्लायर. सो ही विल इशू रिक्वेस्ट फॉर प्रपोजल और टेंडर्स टू द सप्लायर्स. Now the suppliers who are interested वो क्या सबमिट करेंगे? कोटेशन सबमिट करेंगे. करेक्ट. Now quotation is not the final invoice, guys. It's just a quotation. Once the purchase department is satisfied with a particular supplier, he will issue the purchase order to the supplier and supplier will issue pro forma invoice to the accounting department कि we are ready to supply so and so raw material. After releasing the payment, the supplier will issue the final invoice along with the material will be provided to the stores. As soon as stores के अंदर raw material आ जाता है, store keeper क्या issue करेगा? Goods receipt note. Apart from this, अगर कुछ raw material जो है हमारी specification के हिसाब से नहीं है या कुछ damaged है या pilfered stock है, तो it will be returned back to the supplier with goods return note. और finally, last but not least, what all material we have received. The minute, every minute to minute detail will be mentioned in materials abstract and it will be provided to the accounting department. So this is all what about the material procurement process. The first part of the chapter is over, guys. Enough of time to this part because even we are running short of time. Thank you so much, Harsh. Miss Neelam Kumari is saying, I have not received any query. Can you please repost your query? Mukta Vyas, the material abstract is a document issued by the storekeeper to the accounting department. It contains every minute details of the material that is with us and that is received. Yes, Rashmi, don't worry. I'll be taking most of the sessions. Don't worry, guys. Chaliye, guys, let's proceed further. Enough of focus on this part. It's not that much important, but since we have started, so I want to cover everything in detail. So enough of this part. Thank you so much for the compliment, Milton Kumar. Thank you so much, Milton. Now guys, we are done with the first part of the chapter, that is material procurement process. Now moving towards the next part कि भाई एक बार raw material हमारे पास आ गया है, now at what cost to record in books of accounts? My point is, once the material is procured, the next step starts right from there, wherein we have to identify that what all cost is to be included in the cost of material and what will be the final cost of material that we will put up in our books of accounts. So let's start with valuation of material received. Now, at what value the material is to be recorded in books, that we will be discussing now. I'll be covering most of the part of the study material only, guys. So I request you guys to please refer the study material. I request you guys to please refer page number 2.11, that is valuation of material received. So guys, let's start with valuation of material received. It means what? That at what value the material will be recorded. As I told you, as per accounting standard 2, whatever the cost that is incurred till the factory gate will be included in the cost of raw material. But there are certain points we have to keep in mind. So I'll be discussing all these points as mentioned in the study material, guys. Thank you so much, Pooja. So now let's start, guys. We'll be referring mostly in this chapter, we'll be referring the study material only, because there is lots and lots of theory part also. So let's start, guys, with valuation of material received. As I told you, whatever the cost that is incurred till the factory gate will be a part of cost of material. But let's discuss few points, illustrative points that are given in the study material. So first part is trade discount. Very important, guys. The first part is the trade discount. कि भाई जहां कहीं पे भी trade discount दिया हुआ है, deduct it from the cost of purchase. Very simple, guys. I repeat again, if trade discount is given, it will be immediately reduced from the cost of the purchase. Let's say there is an invoice. This is the invoice. This is the date of the invoice. This is the company name. Now this is the final bill. Particulars and amount. Now let's say I have purchased, let's say, product A, 1000 pieces at the rate 100. The bill is like 1 lakh rupees minus trade discount at the rate of 10%. So this will comes to 10,000. So the final value is 90,000. So very important, guys, this 90,000 will be the value of raw material. So I repeat again, guys, if any trade discount is there, it is to be deducted. Apart from this, let's take one more example. Let's say the invoice is like that product A, 1000 pieces at the rate 100 each. The final bill is 1 lakh. Now in question it is given 10% discount, trade 10% trade discount applicable. So in that case also, we'll take the final value, that is 90,000. That is 1 lakh minus 10%, that is 90,000. I repeat again, very simple, guys. कि भाई अगर ट्रेड डिस्काउंट दिया हुआ है तो वी हैव टू रिड्यूस इट फ्रॉम द परचेज प्राइस. द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज ओवर. नाउ मूविंग टुवर्ड्स द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, दैट इज क्वांटिटी डिस्काउंट. नाउ लेट्स टेक अ वेरी बेसिक सिचुएशन कि सपोज मैं कोई शॉपकीपर के पास जाता हूं एंड आई से आई वांट टू बाय 1 वाटर बॉटल. सपोज ही कोट्स मी द प्राइस दैट भाई 100 रुपीज में आपको जो ये बॉटल मिलेगा. I say, what if I want to buy 500 pieces of water bottle? He'll say, yes, if you are buying so much of quantity, then I'll give you 20% discount. So this is what this quantity discount is what? For wholesale purchase or for quantity purchase. Again, quantity discount is to be reduced from the cost of the purchase. So first point, trade discount you have to reduce from the cost of purchase. Second point, quantity discount, again you have to reduce from the cost of purchase. Mukta Vyas, if the time permits, surely I am going to give you a break because I have already, मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा time ले लिया है material procurement में because you are having so many doubts. I'll try to give you a break around 8:30, so don't worry, guys. Thank you so much, Harshu. So the trade discount, first point, yes, we have to deduct it from the cost of purchase. Second point is quantity discount. Yes, this is for bulk buying. Again, it will be reduced from the cost of purchase. Now the third part, cash discount. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. Now the third part is cash discount. What is cash discount? It's a conditional discount. So my point is this cash discount, if it is given in the question, no need to reduce. Now what is cash discount? Let's say I have purchased the material, bottles of rupees 1 lakh from a supplier. He has quoted me the price 1 lakh rupees. And my payment terms are like he's going to provide me 45 days credit. But साथ में वो ये भी बात बोलता है कि अगर आप immediately payment करते हो, I'll give you a discount of 5%. Now, what this 5% is for immediate payment? तो इसका मेन पर्पस क्या है कि अगर आज मैं ये 1 लाख रुपीस अगर इसको पेमेंट कर देता हूं तो I won't be able to enjoy the benefit of this 1 lakh rupees for 45 days. There will be a loss of interest, the opportunity loss of interest, we can say. So we can say this cash discount is not, it's not a discount. It's just अगर हम लोग इधर जो है 5,000 रुपए कम पे कर रहे हैं तो उधर हमारा इंटरेस्ट लॉस भी हो रहा है. सो इन दैट केस द कैश डिस्काउंट इज नॉट टू बी डिडक्टेड फ्रॉम द कॉस्ट ऑफ परचेज. आई रिपीट अगेन, कैश डिस्काउंट इज मोर लाइक अ इंटरेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट. सो अगर हम लोगों का इधर डिस्काउंट मिल रहा है तो उधर हमारा अपॉर्चुनिटी लॉस भी हो रहा है. So it's not a discount only. So very important, guys, cash discount, if it is given in the question, ignore it. No need to be deducted from the cost of purchase. When talking about from where to deduct this trade discount, as I mentioned in the invoice, the purchase price is 1 lakh minus 10%. The trade discount will be deducted from the purchase price, the first purchase price. Let's say I'm purchasing 5,000 kgs at the rate 100 rupees. So my purchase price is how much? 5 lakh. Of this, 10% discount is applicable. So my net purchase price will be 4,50,000. Thereafter, GST will be levied and so on. So the trade discount will be deducted from the purchase price. Once we are getting the net amount, let's say 5 lakh minus 10%, 50,000. So the final amount is 4,50,000. The GST will be levied on 4,50,000. Whether it's SGST or CGST, it will be levied on 4,50,000 only. So cash discount is already discussed. It is not to be deducted because it is not a discount. It's अगर इधर हमें discount मिल रहा है तो उधर साइड हमारा opportunity loss भी हो रहा है. Now next is subsidy and grant received. Government बोलता है कि भाई तुम ये raw material खरीदो, हमारा हाथ आपके सर पे है. It means what? Government is encouraging the manufacturer to government is encouraging the manufacturer to consume this raw material. So in that case, whatever the subsidy that is paid by the government will be deducted. Let's say government बोलता है कि भाई आप 1 lakh का raw material खरीदिए, 20% जो है, I am going to support you. So how much is the cost incurred by us? It is 80%. That is 80,000. I repeat again. Suppose let's say the bill amount is of 1 lakh. Government बोलती है कि I am going to support you by 20%. So what is the amount actually paid by us to the supplier? 80%. That is 80,000. So 80,000 will be only the purchase cost of the material. So if any government subsidy is there, we will reduce it from the cost of purchase. So this is all what about trade discount, that is we have to reduce. Second, quantity discount we have to reduce. Cash discount, भाई ये कोई discount नहीं होता, एक हाथ से जा रहा है तो एक हाथ से वापस आ भी रहा है. So it is not a discount, so it is to be ignored, it is not to be deducted. The next point is government subsidy. Yes, government subsidy we have to reduce. Now next is road tax, toll tax. Let's say I'm a Mumbai based businessman and I do procure material from Rajasthan. तो भाई अगर राजस्थान से मुझे मटेरियल आएगा तो ऐसे हवा में उड़ के तो आएगा नहीं, it will be coming by road transport or by whatever the ways it is. So during the course of transportation कुछ toll tax भरना पड़ेगा, कुछ road tax भरना पड़ेगा. If the buyer, it's me who is going to bear this toll cost, then it will be added to my purchase cost. But if the supplier is going to bear this, then it will not to be added in my cost. So I repeat again, if toll tax, road tax, if it is borne by the buyer, अगर buyer, that is it's me who is purchasing the goods, अगर मैं bear कर रहा हूं तो it will be added to the cost. If I'm not bearing any road tax or toll tax, then it will not to be added in my cost. I repeat again, I'll be discussing this part, Miss Manthanjali, don't worry, I'll be discussing this part with the help of an example, so don't worry. So road tax, toll tax, very simple thumb rule. If it is borne by the buyer, it will be added to the cost of the raw material. If it is borne by the supplier, no need to add. What is road tax की भाई, अगर suppose मैंने interstate goods खरीदा है और within the state goods खरीदा है and transport के लिए, ट्रांसपोर्ट से अगर मेरे पास ये रॉ मटेरियल आ रहा है तो आई डू हैव टू पे सम सॉर्ट ऑफ टोल टैक्स और द ट्रांसपोर्टर हैज टू पे सम सॉर्ट ऑफ टोल टैक्स और रोड टैक्स. If it is borne by me, it will be, if it is borne from my pocket, it is to be added in the cost of raw material. अगर मेरे पॉकेट से कुछ भी नहीं जा रहा है तो it is not to be added in the purchase cost. Now moving towards the next. If, see, agar I'm getting the GST credit, we have to ignore. I'll be discussing this with the help of an example also. Let's say this is the final invoice, particulars and amount. Let's say I purchased material, product X, 1000 pieces at the rate 100. So my total bill is 1 lakh. Of this, the trade discount is at the rate 10%. So it will be 10,000. So the final amount will be 90,000. On this, the supplier has provided me the invoice like SGST and CGST at the rate of 6% and 6%. So this will comes to 5,400 and 5,400. So 90,000 plus 12%. This will be 100,800. Now further, the supplier has provided me a cash discount also at the rate, let's say 2%. So I'm getting a cash discount also of 2%, that is 2016, and this is the net value that is payable 98784. Now guys, this is the invoice that is given with us. That is the total value of the material is 1 lakh, of which 10% is the trade discount, that is 10,000. The net amount is 90,000, on which GST is levied, that is 5,400 and 5,400. The final amount is 1,800,000, of which I have got a cash discount of 2%, that is 2016. So for final bill is 98784. Now guys, what is the treatment of GST? Now very simple. I have to pay GST to the supplier. So it will be once added in my cost. And if I'm getting the credit, I repeat again, if I'm getting the credit of the GST, again it will be reduced from my cost. So in simple terms, if I'm getting the credit of the GST, if I'm paying GST and if I'm getting the credit of the GST, then the entire GST calculation is to be ignored. So let's say I'm the registered dealer. So I'm the registered dealer. I'm paying GST to the supplier, and in return I'm getting credit from the GST department. So can you guys tell me what will be the value that will be kept in books of accounts? What will be the value of material? Can you guys tell me? I'm a registered dealer. Correct? And eligible for credit. I repeat again the concept of GST. When I'm paying it to the supplier, it's a cost to me. But जैसे ही मैं GST भरूंगा, I'll be getting the credit also of GST. So again, it will be reduced. So the net effect will be zero. So can you guys tell me in this invoice, what will be the value that will be recorded in the books of account of the material? Can you help me out with it? Again, guys, it is a cash. This is a final invoice as provided by the supplier. So can you guys help me out with that? What will be the value of material that will be recorded in books? Can you help me out with it? Again, I repeat, I am a registered dealer and eligible for input tax credit. So can you help me out that what will be the value that will be recorded in my books? I've got the answers, that is 90,000, 88, 200, 100, 800. So many answers. My point is, what will be the value of material that will be recorded in books of accounts? I am a registered dealer and eligible for input tax credit. So can you guys help me out that what will be the value of material? I've got the answer from Prabhas Jain. That your value of material is rupees 100,800 if input tax credit is not available. If input tax credit is available, then 90,000. Okay, let me check. Chetna, my dear, this is the invoice as issued by the supplier. सप्लायर ने हमें ये इनवॉइस इशू किया है. नाउ माय क्वेश्चन इज कि मैं अपनी बुक्स में मटेरियल कितना रिकॉर्ड करूंगा. इनवॉइस तो कुछ भी आ सकता है. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वी आर डिस्कसिंग कि मुझे अपनी बुक्स में मटेरियल का क्या वैल्यू रिकॉर्ड करना है. I've got answer from Miss Saipa, Pooja, Prabhas Jain, Neha, Sinha, Rajan Kumar, Jaspreet, Lakshmi. Okay, now see, I've got the answers from many students. Prabhas, your answer is correct. Mohammed, your answer is correct. Yukti Jain, your answer is incorrect. Archie Gupta, incorrect answer. Shreya, incorrect. Shreya, correct answer. Harsh, correct answer. Rohini, correct answer. Miss Rashmeet, correct answer. Memon Rafiq Bhai, Rafika Memon, correct answer. Jaspreet Kaur, incorrect answer. Archie Gupta, correct answer. Anu, correct answer. चेतना मैडम, मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं आपसे कि ये जो है इनवॉइस इशू किया है सप्लायर ने. सप्लायर कुछ भी इनवॉइस इशू कर सकता है. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि भाई व्हाट विल बी द वैल्यू ऑफ मटेरियल दैट विल बी रिकॉर्डेड इन बुक्स. पूजा, इनकरेक्ट आंसर. प्रभास जैन, करेक्ट आंसर. नेहा, इनकरेक्ट आंसर. Now I've got many correct answers. So now guys, see, as I told you, the first point, Will the trade discount be deducted from the cost of purchase? Yes, it will be deducted from the cost of purchase. Now, am I paying GST to the supplier? Yes, I am paying GST to the supplier, but in return, I am getting credit also. See, I am paying 90,000 for the material price and 10,800 for GST. But again, I am getting the credit of GST, that is 10,800. Herein, I am paying GST and I am getting the credit again. So the final value will be 90,000. And as I told you, cash discount is to be ignored while calculating the value of material. So this part is to be ignored. So the final answer will be 90,000. When talking about GST, I repeat again, I am paying it to the supplier. So it will be added. But since I am getting the credit again, it will be deducted. So 90,000 is the correct answer, guys. Cash discount, no need to deduct from the cost of purchase. As I told you, what you have to deduct, trade discount if it is given, it is to be deducted. Quantity discount if it is given, it is to be deducted. But cash discount is not to be deducted, guys. As far as GST is concerned, yes, you are paying GST, but you are getting credit in return. So if you are getting credit, it will be deducted. So the net cost will be 90,000 only. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. Prince, can you please repost your query? I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Ms. Sinha. Chaliye, let's take one more situation. This is the first situation. Let's say I am unregistered dealer. I am unregistered dealer under GST. So my point is, what will be the value of material? This is my second question. What will be the value of material? This is my second question. If I am not a registered dealer, what will be the value of my material? Mr. Suyog Joshi, you have to learn taxation to understand that how we get credit and all. So it is covered in the syllabus of IPCC. So costing class, so I won't be discussing this concept. Anyways, GST is a duty that is levied on all the goods and services. The registered dealer is eligible for input tax credit, whereas unregistered dealer is not eligible for input tax credit. So guys, waiting for your final answer. If I am an unregistered dealer under GST, I am not a registered dealer under GST, what will be the value of material? I've got answers from Tisha Jain. Correct answer. Mr. Chaudhary, incorrect answer. Yes, Amritpal Kaur, correct answer. Prince, your answer is incorrect, my dear. Thank you so much, Jayesh bhai. Jaspreet, very good, correct answer. Tisha Jain, correct answer. Chakradhar, correct answer. Very good. Mr. Rajesh bhai, 100. Okay, correct answer. Chetna, correct answer. Yes, now I'm getting the correct answer from everyone. Very good, guys. Let's see whose answer is incorrect. Now see, Riya Jaiswal, your answer is incorrect. Jayendra Kumar, your answer is incorrect. Prince, yes, your answer is correct, my dear. Miss Radhika, I'm not getting what you are. I mean, Radhika, your answer is incorrect. Very good, guys. Most of your answer is correct. Mr. Shivam Singh, please check the number of zeros you have put. Guys, now the final answer. See, the product cost is 1 lakh minus 10,000, the trade discount. Now I am paying GST. That is 90,000 plus 10,800. I am paying the GST. So the total amount will be 1,00800. Now, am I getting the credit? See, the GST credit is available only to a registered dealer. So am I a registered dealer? No, I'm an unregistered dealer under GST. So I won't be getting any credit of GST. So herein I'm not getting any credit. So 1,00800 will be the final value. Again, you have to ignore the trade discount. Sorry, you have to ignore the cash discount. So this will be the final value that we will be keeping in our books of accounts. Very good, guys. Rajan Kumar, I need to check your answer again, dear. I think I skipped. Ishu Chaudhary, I think your concepts are still not clear, my dear. I repeat again, dear, Miss Chaudhary, that cash discount is not to be deducted from the purchase price. It's a conditional discount. एक हाथ से दे रहा है तो एक हाथ से हमें नुकसान भी हो रहा है, और opportunity cost or interest cost, we won't be able to enjoy the benefit of that money for 45 days or 3 months, whatever the credit period is. So cash discount is to be ignored. It is not to be deducted. I'm writing in bold that cash discount is not to be deducted. Those who are still finding it difficult, for you guys, writing in bold, cash discount is not to be deducted. Only trade discount and quantity discount is to be deducted, my dear. Yes, Surya A, your answer is incorrect, my dear. Ishu Chaudhary, your answer is incorrect. The subsidy anywhere it is given. I'm not discussing, I'm not teaching the GST part right now, that कि भाई subsidy less होके GST लगेगा या नहीं. I'm just teaching the cost accounting, जिसमें मैं अच्छा हूँ. I have very less knowledge of GST. So whatever the points I have discussed, these are the thumb rule for you as far as cost accounting is concerned. Cash discount, ignore. Trade discount, yes, you have to deduct. Quantity discount, yes, you have to deduct. Government subsidy, if it is given, yes, you have to deduct. That's it, guys. Now let's start with the next part. I have already discussed subsidy, road tax, toll tax, integrated IGST, CGST, SGST. Now basic custom duty. Let's say I have imported raw material. Let's say from Japan. Now I have to pay custom duty. Now this custom duty paid will form part of my cost. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. Thank you so much, Prince. Thank you so much, Neha. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. We are running short of time. It's 8:35 now. So much things to cover. So many things to cover, sorry. Now guys, when talking about the basic custom duty, if we are paying the basic custom duty, it will be added in the cost of material. Now we have discussed two types of duty, that is GST and custom duty. Now GST, as I told you, that if we are getting credit, then it is to be deducted. And the similar in the case of custom duty also, if we are getting credit, it is to be deducted just like GST. But very important, guys, what if the question is silent? They have simply given us the GST, that is 10,000, and custom duty, that is 8,000. Now what to do? They are not mentioned anywhere that whether GST credit is available or not, or custom credit is available or not. So guys, you have to follow the following assumption. If the question is silent, if the question is silent about availability of credit, then in case of GST, yes, the credit is available. And in case of custom duty, no credit is available. So my point, if question mentions clearly each and everything, whether custom duty credit is available or not, or GST credit is available or not, you have to follow the instruction as given in the question. But what if in case the question is silent about the credit available or not? So in that case, we will assume that the GST credit is available and no credit is available for custom duty. I repeat again, अगर क्वेश्चन में क्लियरली गिवन है कि भाई इंफॉर्मेशन इज गिवन इन द क्वेश्चन रिलेटिंग टू कि वेदर क्रेडिट इज अवेलेबल और नॉट, और यस कस्टम ड्यूटी इज क्रेडिट अवेलेबल और नॉट, व्हाटएवर इट इज. So if every information is given in the question, then you have to follow the instructions as given in the question. But what if in case the question is silent, then yes, you have to follow this approach. I'm really sorry, Shilpi. I'm really sorry, Jayendra. Thank you so much, Anu Gupta. Okay, I think I skipped Jayendra Kumar, that's why. Thank you so much, Harsh. That's a very good compliment. But yes, we have limitation of time. So we have to complete the session by 9:30. So guys, very important, if the clear instruction are given in the question, then you have to follow the instruction as given in the question. But if the question is silent, you have to follow this approach. That is, in case of GST, we will assume that the credit is available, and in case of custom duty, no credit is available. Now enough of the duty part. Now guys, let's take a break, much needed break. So we'll be back after a break. Admin sir, are you there? So guys, let's take a break of 10 minutes. We'll be back after 10 minutes, guys. So in the meanwhile, whatever the queries you have, you guys can post, or else you guys can have a sip of coffee or tea. We'll be back after 10 minutes. That is 8:40 is right now. So we'll be back by 8:50. So let's take a break, guys. I need a break here. I'm standing and delivering the lectures, so I need a break, guys. So let's meet up after 10 minutes. Admin sir, are you there, sir? Welcome back, guys, after a refreshing break. So we are discussing what will be the value of material that we will record in books of accounts, wherein we have discussed what will be the treatment of trade discount, guys. I think still many are. So guys, now first point what we have discussed is the trade discount. Yes, it will be deducted from the cost of raw material. When talking about quantity discount, yes, it will be deducted from the cost of raw material. The third point, cash discount. भाई ये कोई discount नहीं होता, it's a conditional discount. एक हाथ से हमें discount मिल रहा है, but there is an opportunity loss of interest cost also, so it will not to be deducted. Thereafter, subsidies and government. So whatever the cost that is borne by the government, it is to be deducted. The net cost that is incurred by us will only be taken in books of accounts. Thereafter, road tax, toll tax, as I've already discussed, that if it is borne by the buyer, it is to be added to the cost of the inventory. When talking about GST, I have already covered the things in detail. The basic custom duty, yes, it is to be added to the cost of raw material. However, if it is clearly instructed in the question that the credit of the custom duty is available, you have to deduct again the credit available, and the net amount, that is plus minus the net amount, will be the value that it is to be taken as the value of material. Now moving towards the next part, that is penalty and charges. Now the first is demurrage charges. It is an abnormal cost, so it is to be ignored. Any sort of abnormal cost or abnormal loss is directly to be transferred to costing P&L. Demurrage charges will never form part of material cost. Yes, it will be shown in books of accounts, but it will not form part of material cost since it is an abnormal cost. Now, what is demurrage cost? काफी लोगों को curiosity होगा कि what is demurrage cost? Let's say I'm the manufacturer of wooden furniture and I have imported teak wood from Indonesia. अब हुआ क्या कि once it arrives at Mumbai port, they instructed me that you have to take the material within 2 days. Submit all your documents and take whatever your material is to your warehouse. बट हुआ क्या कि हमारा डॉक्यूमेंटेशन प्रोसेस में थोड़ा सा टाइम लग गया, और वो जो वुड है, जो रॉ मटेरियल जो इंडोनेशिया से वाले क्या करेंगे कि भाई ये आपका वेयरहाउस नहीं है, ये हमारा वेयरहाउस है, so we will be levying certain charges known as demurrage charges. So this is an abnormal cost, so that's why it will not to be added in the cost of material. As far as detention charges and penalties concerned, if there is some sort of wrong submission of document or the material as specified in the invoice is not the actual material, then we have to pay certain sort of detention charges or fine. So again, it is an abnormal cost, so it is not to be deducted. I repeat again, demurrage charges, again an abnormal cost, not to be deducted from the cost of material. Penalties, fines, detention charges, by whatever name called, again it is an abnormal cost. They will be shown in books of accounts, but it will never form part of cost of material. So these things is to be ignored. I repeat again, demurrage charges, detention charges, penalties and fines, by whatever name called, it is not to be added in the cost of material. It's not like that Milton Kumar ki cash discount customer फंसाने का जाल होता है. It's like, you see, I am also into trading business. So if I have sufficient amount of funds, I can purchase my raw material on cash discounts. It's not like it's a trap or something like that. Those buyers who have sufficient amount of spare fund can avail the cash discount also. So it's nothing like a trap. But yes, the cash discount is not to be deducted from the cost of raw material. So I repeat again, demurrage charges, it's an abnormal cost, not to be deducted. Detention charges or fines, by whatever name called, or penalties by whatever name called, not to be added in the cost of material. Now moving towards the next part, that is other expenditures, that is insurance charges. Let's say the goods were imported from Indonesia and I have instructed the supplier to arrange a transit insurance for me and I will bear the transit insurance cost. So yes, if the insurance charges are borne by the buyer, then it is to be added to the cost of material. Because see, I am incurring cost from my own pocket for insuring the material. So it is to be added in the cost of material. As far as commission or brokerage paid for purchasing the raw material, yes, it is to be added in the cost of raw material. Freight inwards, again, it is to be added to the cost of raw material. So till now, if you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Thereafter, we'll start with the cost of container and the shortages. So till now, if you guys have any queries, you guys can ask me. I repeat again, demurrages and all sort of penalty is to be ignored. They will not be added to the cost of raw material. As far as commission, insurance charges, freight inward, if it is borne by the buyer, if I am bearing the same, then yes, it will be added to the cost of the raw material. So guys, let's start with cost of containers. If it is returnable and non-returnable. If it is a returnable container or a non-returnable container. Now let's say I have received an invoice from my supplier, invoice number so and so, date so and so, the company name. Now, material cost is, let's say, 5 lakh rupees. Now, container, it is non-returnable. It's of no use, and the cost is 10,000. The final bill is 5,10,000. So what will be the value of material? Very important, guys. What will be the value of material? 5,10,000 will be the value of material. I repeat again, if the containers are non-returnable, it's of no use. I mean, it cannot be used later. So whatever the cost of container is which are non-returnable, it will be added to the cost of inventory. When talking about returnable containers, let's say full amount will be refunded. And partial amount is refunded. Now let's say I've got a query, sir, if I deduct GST then custom duty. See, my point is, Neha, very simple. Keep the thing simple. Don't go with how the taxation works, because this is a costing class, not a taxation class. My point is, if you are paying GST, it will be added. If you are getting the credit of GST, it will be deducted. So the net amount will be 0. Similarly, if you are paying the custom duty, it will be added. If you are getting the credit of the custom duty, it will be deducted. So the net effect will be 0. So if you are getting the credit, again deducted. If you are not getting the credit, GST and custom duty will form part of material cost. Why penalty is not included? My dear, penalties, the name itself says panel cost, abnormal cost. So any sort of abnormal cost will not form part of material cost. Or even the cost of the products also, because we will be discussing cost sheet in the coming session. It also says that any sort of abnormal loss or abnormal cost will never form part of a cost of product or cost of a material. Now, if full amount is refunded, let's say I have received an invoice wherein the material is 5 lakh, container, let's say 10,000, total bill is 5,10,000. It is given that the full amount will be refunded on return of container. This is the note that is given that जब कभी भी आप कंटेनर वापस बेचेंगे आपको पूरा का पूरा अमाउंट मिल जाएगा. It means what? In that case, the cost of material will be how much? 5 lakh. In this case, it will be 5,10,000. So Supplier has made the invoice like 5 lakh is the value of material, 10,000 is the value of container. As and when you will return the container, you will get the full amount as a refund. So in that case, 5 lakh will be the value of material that will be recorded in books. Now when talking about partial amount is refunded, let's say again there is an invoice wherein the material is of 5 lakh. The container is given, that is 10,000. The total bill is 5,10,000. Now it is given that on return of container, %80 amount will be refunded. 80% will be refunded. It means what? We are currently paying 10,000, but 80% will be refunded. So the net cost 20%, that is 2,000 will be your cost of container. So in that case, the value of material will be 5 lakh plus 2,000. So this will be 5 lakh 2,000. So these are the three situations where in the first situation, if it is a non-returnable container, the entire amount we will take as the cost of material. But if it is a returnable container and the full amount is refunded, then we will take only the 5 lakh only. That is, since we will be getting the refund of the entire amount. But let's take in third situation where it is saying that on return of container, 80% amount will be refunded. It means what? We have to bear the cost of container up to 20%. So this 2,000, that is 20% of 10,000 plus 5 lakh. So 5 lakh 2,000 will be the value of material that will be recorded in books. So this is for explanation purpose. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can please ask me. I've already mentioned the example, Miss Amritpal Kaur. Very good, guys. Those who want to copy this part can please copy. Thereafter, we'll be discussing the shortage part, the last part of the valuation of material. Giving you 2 minutes time only, guys. Please copy. Those who want to copy can please copy. Yes, Triti, it is an abnormal loss. Let's start, guys, with the next part, that is shortages. What is the treatment of shortages? Yes, most of the question I'll be covering, Manisha. Yes, Soumya, don't worry. Now, guys, shortages, that is loss. It can be due to normal reason or it may be due to abnormal reasons. Now, this part I'll be discussing in detail in process costing, but for your knowledge purpose, just giving you a brief about normal and abnormal shortages, whatever it is. See, normal loss, it is inherent in nature. Normal shortage is inherent in nature. It is due to production process or something like that. Let's say I'm into business of manufacturing potato chips from potatoes. Now, I procure these potatoes directly from the farmer. So during the course of loading or unloading, certain percentage of potatoes are damaged. And this loss is bound to happen because it is the nature of the product. So this is what we call as normal loss. But let's say during the course of transportation, one of my vehicle met an accident, and let's say 50 kgs of 500 kgs of potatoes were damaged or scrapped because of the accident. So this is what we call as abnormal loss. It is unavoidable. It is avoidable, and this normal loss is unavoidable. So when talking about abnormal loss, I repeat again, we can avoid normal loss if we take proper precautions or care. And when talking about normal loss, it is inherent in nature. It is bound to happen. I repeat again the same example. I do manufacture potato chips from potatoes. So during the course of loading, I procure these potatoes directly from farmers. So during the course of loading or unloading, certain percentage is scrapped or damaged. So this is the nature of the product, that it is bound to happen. So this is normal loss. When talking about normal loss, during the course of transit, one of my lorry met an accident and 500 kgs were scrapped. So this is abnormal loss. Let's take another example. Let's say I am into business of refining the crude oil. During processing, certain percentage is evaporated. This is normal loss. But let's say due to certain reasons, or there is a theft of a particular oil tanker, then it is the abnormal loss. So I hope you guys clear normal and abnormal loss. I'll be discussing this part in detail in process costing. So when talking about good units, when talking about abnormal loss, whatever the value of abnormal loss is, it is to be directly transferred to costing P&L. Value of abnormal loss is to be transferred to costing. So I repeat again, normal loss, it is bound to happen. It is inherent in nature. It is the nature of the product that normal loss hoga hi hoga. So we can't avoid it. So normal loss, the value of normal loss will be absorbed by value of good units. When talking about abnormal loss, it may be due to carelessness or whatever the reason is. So in that case, if it is due to abnormal reason, it is to be transferred to costing P&L. If you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. I'll be discussing this part in detail, the accounting part, and in detail in process costing. So for now, it's more than sufficient. Now, let me take an example of normal loss. Let's say I made a purchase of 1000 units and the cost is 1 lakh. I repeat again, I purchased 1000 units and the cost is 1 lakh. Let's say due to the nature of it's the nature of the product that 20% is going to be scrapped. So 20% means what? 200 is my normal loss. It is the nature of the product that 20% of the input will be scrapped. So it means what? We will be getting only 800 inputs of raw material. So this cost of 1 lakh will be for 800 units. This is what we call as the value of normal loss will be absorbed by value of good units. It means what? This 1 lakh rupees will be the cost of 800 units. So this will be, that is 120. Earlier our cost was 1000 at the rate 100, but since it is the nature of the product that 20% loss is bound to happen. So instead of 1000 units, even though 1000 units we have purchased, but we are getting only 800 units in hand. It means what? This cost of 1 lakh will be absorbed by 800 good units. So this is all what the concept of normal loss. Now guys, this is all what about the theory part. We are done with the theory part, normal loss, abnormal loss. So if you guys have any doubts, any queries in the explanation, you guys can ask me. Else we'll start with the questions of study material, that is illustration number 1, page number 2.14. So whatever the queries you have, you guys can please ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. I'll be discussing normal loss and abnormal loss in detail in process costing. So for now, this explanation is more than sufficient. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can please ask me. So guys, done with the explanation part. Now let's start with the numericals, that is illustration number 1. I request you guys to please refer the study material. We are discussing illustration number 1. I request you guys to please refer page number 2.14 of the study material, illustration number 1. So SKD Company Limited, not registered under GST, purchased material pre from a company which is registered under GST. The following information is available for the one lot of 1000 units of material purchase. So they have purchased 1000 units of material. The list price of the lot is 50,000. Yes, Mr. Viral, I'll be taking inventory control in the next session. So let's start, guys, without wasting time. 2.14 page number, illustration number 1, that is SKD Company. Nothing, I mean, there is no rocket science. It is all what we have discussed in the last 1 hour. So this is just a practical question of what we have discussed in last 1 hour. So guys, let's focus. Start with illustration number 1. We are starting with illustration number 1. That is SKD Company Limited, not registered under GST. Very important. This guy is not registered under GST. It means what? No credit is available on inputs. So whatever the GST paid will form part of cost of material. So not registered under GST, purchase material pre from a company which is registered under GST. The following information is available for one lot of 1000 units of material purchased. List price is 50,000. That is, it means what? The per unit cost is rupees 50. The trade discount they are giving is 10% of the listed price. CGST and SGST credit is not available. Yes, the credit is not available because the dealer is itself not registered under GST. Now, cash discount 10%. Very important, guys. This cash discount is to be ignored. No need to consider cash discount. Next, freight and insurance. See, this line will be given only if payment is made within 30 days. We have to ignore this line only. This line is of no use. This is just to confuse you guys. So ignore this line. The next point, freight and insurance is given 3,400. See, as I discussed, that freight and insurance will form part of cost of material. So it will be included in the cost of material. Toll tax paid 1,000. Again, it will form part of material cost. Then demurrage charges. As I discussed, this is abnormal in nature. That's why it is to be ignored while calculating the cost of material. When talking about commission and brokerage on purchases, yes, we have to add it. Amount deposited for returnable container is 6,000 and amount of refund on retaining the container is 4,000. So it means what? We have paid 6,000, but we'll be getting refund of 4,000. So the net 2,000 cost will form part of cost of material. Other expenses are 2% of the total cost. 20% of the material shortage is due to normal reason. It means what? This 20%, the loss of this 20% will be borne by the balance 80% units. The payment to the supplier was made within 20 days of purchase. Again, this part is irrelevant. You are required to calculate the cost per unit of the material purchased to SKD Limited. So let's start, guys. We have to prepare a statement. Computation of total cost of so the purchase price will prepare the units column also because there is a normal loss. So the list price is given, that is list price of one lot, that is 50,000 rupees. For 1,000 units, it is 50,000 rupees. It is page number 2.14, guys. Now, first of all, what we have to deduct? The trade discount at the rate of 10% of the list price. So this will be 5,000 trade discount. So the balance amount will be 45,000. In this, we have to add the GST part because the billing part will be over once the goods starts from the supplier premise. So we have to add the GST part, that is CGST and SGST. So CGST and SGST at the rate of 6% and 6%. That is 2,700 and 2,700. So the total amount will be 50,400. In this we have to add. The other costs that are incurred. Again, I repeat, guys, trade cash discount you guys have to ignore. The next part is freight. And insurance 3,400. So as discussed, it is to be added. Next, toll tax paid. That is 1,000. Next, demurrage charges we have to ignore. Now guys, I have taken the GST. Why I have taken the GST? Because the credit is not available. Suppose in this situation, suppose let's take a different case wherein I am a registered dealer, I am purchasing this raw material. Then this cost is to be ignored. So the final cost will be 45,000 plus 3,400 plus 1,000 and so on. I repeat again, guys, since the buyer is not a registered buyer, so that's why we have added GST to the cost of the material. If it is a registered buyer, this GST we will be getting the credit back. So this cost we would have ignored. Toll tax paid, that is 1,000. Demurrage charges we have to ignore. Commission and brokerage on purchases 2,000. Amount deposited for returnable container 6,000 and the amount to be refunded is 4,000. So I'll simply write containers 6,000 minus 4,000. The net amount will be 2,000. So this will be the total cost. $58,800. Further, they are saying that other expenses 2% of the total cost. Other expenses are 2% of the total cost. So this is how we will get the total cost. So it is given that other expenses are 2% of the total cost. So let's assume that the total cost is 100. The other expenses are 2% of 100. So this will be equal to 98%. I repeat again, in the question they are saying that the other expenses are 2% of the total cost. It means what? Let's assume that total cost is 100. So the other expenses will be equal to 2 and the balance cost will be equal to 98%. So we can easily calculate the total cost, that is 58,800 divided by 98 into 100. So this will be 60,000. This will be 1200. Now, they are saying that out of this total 1000 units, 20% of the material is due to 20% of the material shortage is due to normal reason. It means what? The normal loss is 20%. It means 1000 into 20%, that is 200 is the normal loss. So the balance, we are getting the final number of units is 800 units and the total cost is 60,000. So what will be the cost per unit for 800 units? 60,000 is the total cost divided by 800 units. So the total cost per unit will be 75. So I repeat again, guys. I have taken the list price, that is 50,000. As discussed, the trade discount, if it is given, it is to be deducted from the list price as mentioned in the question specifically. So 45,000 is the value that is to be recorded. Now, here in the GST comes into picture, that is 2,700 and 2,700. We would have ignored 2,700 and 2,700, that is 5,400, if the dealer, if the buyer is a registered dealer. As I discussed, that once you are paying GST, you can add, and once you are getting credit, you can deduct, or you can simply ignore the GST part. But herein, the buyer is not a registered dealer. So that's why we have taken GST as the cost. And further, I have already discussed while discussing GST this concept. So no need to focus this part. Further. Freight and insurance, as discussed, it will be added to the cost of material. Toll tax paid. Yes, if it assuming that it is borne by the buyer, so it will be added to the cost of material. Commission and brokerage, it will be added. Container charges, we have to add. As far as demurrage cost is concerned, since it is an abnormal cost, it is not to be added. So this is how we got 58,800. Now it is given that other expenses amounts to 2% of the total cost. So here in the cost till now is 58,800. So the total cost is not with us. So we will assume that the total cost is equal to 100. 2% is the other expenses, so 98% will be the balance cost. So 58,800 is equals to 98. So how much will be 100? That is 60,000. So the balance other expenses will be 1,200. So now we have got the total cost of 60,000. Further, the question has clearly mentioned that 20% of material shortage is due to normal reason. So as discussed, the normal loss is absorbed by value of good units. So this loss of 200 units will be absorbed by good units, that is 800 units, the balance 800 units. So the total cost that is incurred is 60,000 divided by the 800 good units. So the cost per unit is rupees 75. Now guys, very important, the solution is not yet end. Solution abhi khatam nahi hua hai. Very important, write all the footnotes. Write all the footnotes what you have in mind. As discussed, the first point starts from GST. So if the dealer is a registered dealer, the GST credit is available. In that case, the GST cost will be ignored from the cost of material. That is the first note you can write. Second point you can write is assuming that the toll tax, freight and insurance is paid by the buyer. That's why we have included in the cost of material. I repeat again, since the question is silent about freight, insurance and toll tax paid, so whatever you are thinking, why you have added, that you have assumed that buyer must have paid it. Buyer ने ये पे किया होगा तभी हमने अपने स्टेटमेंट में लिया है. तो आप अपने दिमाग में मत रखिए, आप अपने विचारों को अपने कॉपी में लिखिए, अपनी नोटबुक में लिखिए. It means what? That whatever the cost that belongs to freight and insurance, we are assuming that it is paid by the buyer. Henceforth, we have added it in the cost of inventory. Apart from this, demurrage charges, since it is in abnormal in nature, that's why we have ignored. So these all footnotes you need to write while writing the exams. So if you guys have any doubts, any queries in this question, you guys can please ask me. Many of you are facing queries as regards the other expenses. I repeat again, it is given that other expenses represent 2% of the total cost. So let's assume the total cost is not given in the question. So let's assume that the total cost is 100. Since it is 2% of this 100, so this will be 2. So the balance cost will be 100 minus 298. So it means what? We have 58,800, the cost that is equals to 98% of the total cost. So we can easily calculate the total cost, that is rupees 60,000. So apart from this, if you guys have any doubts, any queries, any confusion, you guys can please ask me. Further, there is a homework for you guys. That is, you have to solve illustration number 2 and illustration number 3 as homework. I want your answers and queries on illustration number 2 and 3. So this is what the second part of the chapter, that is valuation of material. In this, we discussed what will be the value of material that we will record in books of accounts. There were a few important points relating to cash discount. The GST part I have already discussed separately in detail. So I have not covered this concept again in this question. So GST part, what will be the treatment of normal and abnormal loss? I'll be discussing this part in detail in process costing, but for your reference, if abnormal loss is there, ignore it. If it is normal loss, it will be absorbed by good units. Thank you so much, Karthik. Neha Gupta, sir, what all footnotes we have to write? The first footnote, if the dealer is a registered dealer, we would have got, agar dealer registered dealer hota, to hame GST ka credit milta. So we, ये जो cost है, it will not form part of total cost. Second assumption ये हम लोग लिख सकते हैं कि अगर freight insurance और toll charges जो है हमने अपनी cost sheet में लिया है, the reason is that we have assumed that it is borne by the buyer. The next point what you can write is that demurrage charges, since it is abnormal in nature, demurrage charges since it is abnormal in nature, so that's why we have ignored in the calculation of total cost. Apart from this, about normal loss also, since it is inherent in nature, the value of normal loss will be absorbed by value of good units. If it is abnormal loss, I'll be discussing this treatment in process cost required only. But by the end, when the process costing gets over, you will be thorough with the concept of normal and abnormal loss. So not focusing more on normal and abnormal loss. Any other doubts? So your homework is question number 2 and 3. I'm going to check your homework and I'm going to ask you queries on question number 2 and 3. So please read and solve the question carefully. Apart from this, if there are any practice question in the practice, at the end of study material, I request you guys to please solve. So the two parts of the chapters are over. That the chapter is over, that is related to material procurement and related to valuation of material. The remaining part we will be discussing in the next session, guys. So that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for your time and patience. I have got many answers and the session was interactive. So thank you so much, guys, for participating in the session and posting your answers or queries, whatever it is. So I'll be back with the next session, mostly day after tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time and patience. God bless you, guys. Practice hard, practice a lot, try to solve questions in writing. So that's it for the day, guys. Take care. God bless you. See you soon, guys. Thank you so much. अच्छा था सर सेशन? हाँ हाँ हाँ